Hello everybody, my name is Amaj Ali. I'm a clinical scientist from South Wales, and in today's video we will be simulating this hearing loss that you see before you on this audiogram. This actually belongs to a real person that reached out to me on Facebook after I posted that I would do these videos to simulate people's hearing loss. I actually didn't have this idea. It was sort of prompted by a private message that I received from an individual that requested my help regarding writing something down for her to help her explain to her employer why she's struggling to hear. Rather than explain it in words, I thought I would send her a quick video, much like I'm doing right now, to simulate her hearing loss, and she found it incredibly useful. Her daughter actually cried when she watched the video, and she is using the video to explain to others. So it's much more visceral and real when it's animated in this way. When you use words like mild, moderate, severe, low to high frequency sensorineural hearing loss, all these technical terms, it really is not really relatable for most people. So this hearing loss simulator really does bring it home, and I think it'll be a good opportunity to also educate on the different types of hearing loss that people can have. I just want to put out there that audiograms and pure tone audiograms that you see here are limited in terms of they're essentially just mapping out the quietest that you can hear beeps. So we're talking about low to high pitch sounds and how sensitive you can pick them up. But it doesn't actually give us any information about how you would process sound, particularly in background noise. And that requires further testing, what we call speech audiometry and speech and noise tests, which this audiogram cannot cover. But it certainly can be useful because it is the foundation of what we do in terms of testing. And it does provide information about various degrees of hearing loss and how a person may hear somebody's voice in a quiet setting. So as you see here, there's two graphs. The red is the right ear, blue is the left ear. What you see before you is quite a significant hearing loss. So the hearing loss representing, or that we are seeing on the right side, is a profound mid to high frequency sensorineural hearing loss. In the very low pitches, the hearing is actually within the normal limits there, and as you steeply decline, so this is called a ski slope hearing loss with likely cochlear dead regions, which is this area here, where there is no detectable nerve function. So hearing aids can only work with what hearing is left. So the points that you see there is where the hearing aid can help and assist to bridge the gap. And the points that you see there, the hearing aids are limited because there's no nerve function that can actually pick up or receive the sounds that are being amplified. And in terms of what we would do, I'll leave that for a separate video because there are certain ways that you can deal with this type of hearing loss. But in the main thing to mention is if you can see the sort of gray shaded area here, this is called a speech banana, and that's where somebody's voice would appear if they're speaking with a quiet voice. And what this graph shows us is that the low tones, where words such as Bob, jam, mum there would be very little difficulty to pick that up. But anything else, with most of the other phonics of speech like sh, s, and the vowels and the accents will all be missing. So there is, with this type of hearing loss, an expectation that there'll be significant issues with clarity. And we will be able to visualize that as soon as I play this now. So I'm going to play a female voice which is called speech in quiet. And we're going to hear this voice initially as per normal. And as soon as I press this button, simulate, it'll turn gray. And then you will basically get a simulation of that voice, that same voice, coming through the left ear. And you'll notice straight away the difference. As soon as I unhighlight that button, it will go back to normal, and I'll flip between the two so it really will highlight what's going on with the left. And then I'll toggle to the right, and I'll do that for the right, and then I'll stop and leave a few concluding comments. So here we go.
The roster of Nobel laureates is studded with the names of great and deservedly illustrious persons. There are giants missing from the list. For example, the most fundamental contribution to the physical sciences that has come out of America.
I'm going to pause the video. So as you could tell, there's a murmur, very little distinction and this is in a quiet room. If you place that individual in a background noise setting, they would significantly struggle to understand what's going on. They will be aware that there are voices, but it'll all just be a sort of a mumble without any clarity whatsoever. That's without any hearing aid assistance. We're going to now toggle to the right side and do the same.
Was the work of J. Willard Gibbs, professor of mathematical physics at Yale University. Gibbs had no laboratory. He performed no experiments.
So, as you can see there, that's quite a significant hearing loss, and a person with this type of hearing loss would struggle, significantly without hearing aids, and even hearing aids would be limited. So, the way we normally approach these type of hearing losses is that we would say hearing aids should be seen as just one tool within the toolbox, and you would look to assisting that individual with assistive listening devices like what we called partner microphones and things like that, which are paired with the hearing aids, sort of streams the voice from the external microphone to the hearing aids directly. You'd also look into assisted listening devices around the house, such as flashing light bulbs for the doorbells and so on. And you'd also be talking about communication tactics. So in tandem with all these three and managing that individual's case, there is one other thing that certain hearing aids have advantage over others in terms of how to deal with this particular case, and it's something called frequency lowering or frequency transposition, as it first was known or termed. And basically what that is, it cuts and pastes the sound from where they can't, or there's no hearing function, to where they do have hearing. And it's almost like squeezing the sort of bandwidth to where they can hear. And it's limited, of course, in terms of how much clarity it can provide. But people who have used this have noticed that they are picking up phonics that they normally don't have access to. But it would probably sound quite artificial to them because it's all done through the sort of software and algorithms. So this is what we're looking at, and this is the case, and I hope you found that to be useful.